So you have decided to give Warframe a try, the looter shooter free-to-play game that has been around for 10 years. If you haven't heard of Warframe, then I don't know where you've been. Now, Warframe is a lot to deal with, and in this beginner's guide series I am making, I will hold your hand and walk you through everything you need to know to start decimating the Warframe universe. This will be a series of videos, and in this series I aim to cover all the basics of Warframe so that it all makes sense to you. Just some disclaimers, I will try my absolute best to make it spoiler free, and if there will be a spoiler, I will put a spoiler warning for you and warn you beforehand so you know, and then you can just skip over it if you don't want to have any spoilers or anything like that. Come along with me and let's start at the beginning. Firstly, what is Warframe? Well, to put it simply, you are space ninjas that kill, loot, craft, get stronger, kill more, get more loot, and then get richer while obliterating everything in your path. And to top all of this, you get an absolutely amazing storyline. So if that interests you, then Warframe is for you. From the beginning, you have created your account, you log in, and you are hit with the Mother Lotus waking you up. You are given two choices, the Warframe path or the Deviri path. To be real with you, it doesn't matter too much as you will have access to both pieces of content really early into the game. If you have no idea what Deviri is, do not stress. I have made a video on it and I will put it in the cards on the top right where I explain everything Deviri has to offer you, so that if you want to go the Deviri path, that maybe will help you just to make sense of it all. My suggestion is go the Warframe path because it has a better tutorial to teach you the ropes of Warframe, or just choose whatever path you want. At the end of the day, like I said, you will have both quest lines super early into the game and they merge very quickly. If you do the Deviri path first, then after you've completed the quest, no spoilers, you will get the prompt to start the War's Prize quest, which is the start of the Warframe path, which is what I just mentioned. Watch the cutscene and then you will have the choice for your starter frame. Frames are what we call the Warframes, which is the name of the game. Warframes are unique characters that all have unique abilities and different playstyles in this game. We have 53 Warframes, by the way. These are the starter frames that consist of Excalibur, Mag, and Vault. Now, I always say, you play the game how you want and you learn the game how you want, but if you would like a suggestion from me, I would say go Vault or Excalibur. I personally chose Vault as he is really strong, especially for a beginner. Or you can go the poster boy and go Excalibur, or you can go Mag. Choose your frame that piques your interest or that you would like, and then you will get started with a tutorial. Another one. In this tutorial, you will learn all the basic movements, abilities, skills, and everything like that. You will pick up your first weapons in this tutorial, go through it, complete it, and then you will get dropped into your orbiter. Now, what is your orbiter? It's pretty much your main hub in Warframe, where you sort your gear out, craft things, start your missions, etc, etc. Everything that happens in Warframe pretty much starts here in your orbiter. You will be prompted to continue with the War's Prize quest, which is the starting quest to Warframe. You will have to do a series of missions, so just follow each mission, listen to your boy Ordis and Mother Lotus. After you've done these first few missions, you will kind of get a feel for Warframe. Once you have completed War's Prize, now what? You're probably very confused and probably slightly overwhelmed by the mod system, the navigation tab, all the frames, the weapons in the arsenal, but don't stress, my baby tenor. We can discuss this later. But for now, let me just quickly lay out something for you. What is the ultimate goal of Warframe? And the reason I'm doing this so early is because generally people play Warframe and they've progressed a bit and they get a few master ranks in and they kind of just ask themselves, what is the point of Warframe? To put it simply, without spoiling anything, your entire goal of Warframe is getting stronger. Quite literally, that's what it boils down to. To elaborate on this, you follow your star chart, which is all the planets you see in the navigation tab, while completing quests, which offer you an absolutely amazing storyline to follow, while crafting new frames, weapons, leveling your mastery rank, gathering mods, pets, credits, farming. Also, let's not forget about making money. And last but not least, fashion frame. Now, what is master rank that I just mentioned now? Master rank is something you will hear about a lot in Warframe because it is your profile level. So as you increase your master rank, you gain access to more weapons, Warframes, and more content. When you reach Master Rank 16, you've pretty much unlocked everything in Warframe, and leveling up any further just gives you a lot more quality of life features. And at the time of this video, the highest MR, which is Master Rank, I will use the term MR a lot, is Legendary 3. which is technically Master Rank 33. After you have hit MR 30, it goes to Legendary 1, Legendary 2, and Legendary 3. Your entire goal is to get to MR 16 as soon as possible, because then you can fully experience what Warframe has to offer you without being locked behind anything, as Warframe is just pretty much like a giant collector's game. You like a Pokemon master just collecting everything. You just need to own everything and max it out. Now the question you're probably asking is how to actually gain this Master Rank. As you obtain more weapons and frames and level them up, you will gain Master Rank points. Each frame and weapon has a max level of 30, however there are some exceptions for weapons. That is not important to know right now. Each weapon gives you 3000 Master Rank points at max rank, so that's 100 points per level. Each frame gives you 6000 Master Rank points at max rank, so that's 200 points per level. When you have accumulated enough points, you will then be prompted to finish your Master Rank test. Just a quick side note here, there are also different ways of acquiring Master Rank points. It's not just tied to weapons and frames, but as someone who's just starting out Warframe, it's not that important to know, as your main source of MR points will probably be through weapons and frames. When you do get the prompt and you have enough points, press escape, click on the Master Rank test. However, it's important to know this, that if you fail this test, you will have to wait 24 hours to do it again. So what you can do is practice it. As you can see, there's a practice button to see what you have to do, because each Master Rank test is different and has different requirements to finish it. These are super important to do, and your goal is to level up your Master Rank in Warframe, so don't ignore these. Keep obtaining new weapons and frames and progress. I will go over a strategy to obtain your weapons and frames later on in future episodes. For now, I have laid out the ultimate goal of Warframe and have explained a very important part of Warframe being Master Rank. Now let's walk you through the navigation tab, which is the tab that you've seen by now. After you completed the Wars prize, you would have to go in it, and you would probably see all these planets and be like, whoa, that's a lot of planets. I know, it's a lot, but the progression is actually pretty linear and simple as you play along and once you figure it out. Now, as you can see, you start at Earth, that's your starting point, and you have a whole bunch of different nodes, which they have their different names and so on. Now, your goal is to get to the junctions of each planet. These junctions allow you to progress to the next planet so that you can progress further into the star chart, which is what we call this whole screen. This is called the star chart. You will unlock more content when you complete more junctions. Each junction has a set of requirements that you need to do before you can complete the junction, which ties into you doing certain boss fights, certain nodes on planets, main storyline quests, and a whole bunch of other things. And what is amazing about these junctions as well is you gain a whole bunch of rewards for completing these junctions. I will say, depending on how you want to play Warframe, you can complete every node on each planet before you progress to the next planet, or you can kind of speedrun unlocking just the specific requirements that are needed to get to the next planet and then finish up the nodes later on when you've unlocked all the planets. I personally would suggest completing every node on each planet before you progress so that you don't have to come back and you can kind of enjoy the game a bit more, knowing that you're up to scratch and you've done everything up until where you are in the game. Now, as you can see here, there are a whole bunch of nodes with different mission types. I'm going to be brief and vague here because as you play, you will figure out each mission type for yourself, and I don't want to drag this video out any longer than it needs to be, so stay with me here. Exterminate is you killing a certain number of enemies, and then you can head to extraction. Capture is capturing a target, head for extraction. Defense is defending a target for 5 waves of enemies. Mobile defense is defending a console with a time limit for multiple times. Spy is a stealth mission type where you need to sneak into 3 vaults, hack into the consoles, and you get rewards for hacking into them. Rescue is what you would think. Rescue a fellow target, then get into extraction safely before he dies. Interception is you capturing 4 points and holding them until you get to 100%, and you need to stop the enemies from capturing it again. Sabotage is literally you just sabotaging machines and then extracting. Excavation is you deploying excavators that mine a resource called cryotic, which you need to keep them powered by using power cells that you get from enemies, and then you have to keep these drills alive until it is completed. Assassination, which is a boss fight mission basically. If all of this doesn't make sense and it sounds like an absolute overload of information, do not stress. You can head over to the Codex and look at the mission types, and there you will see the official description of each game mode. So if this doesn't make any sense of my summarized version, then yeah. But like I said, just play the game and you will get a feel for it, and then you will kind of learn each mission type. It's not that hard to understand. In Warframe, there are basically 4 primary factions that you fight against, and those are Grineer faction, the Corpus faction, the Infested, and then the Corrupted, which is basically the Corpus and Grineer factions but corrupted by void energy. Corrupted isn't super important to worry about yet. The main ones are Grineer, Corpus, and Infested. As you play your missions, you will start gathering some materials and credits. Credits are one of the main source of currencies in this game. It's used to craft things, buy blueprints, upgrade your mods, etc, etc. Most things in Warframe cost credits to make. The resources that you start gathering will be used to craft new weapons and frames in the Foundry, which is a part of your orbiter that I'll talk about later on in this video. Now, I have dumped all this info on you and you're probably a bit confused. Don't worry, it will all make sense when you start playing your first few missions. Your goal now as a beginner is to get to Mars, and to do that, you need to get to the Venus junction and then go to Mercury, and then you can get to Mars. However, on Earth, you also need to head to Cetus. Now, Cetus is one of Warframe's open world types. This is a very important part of Warframe later on in the game, but just get there for now and do the first quests. I don't want to spoil anything, I want you to experience it, but yes, Cetus is very important. Get to there. Now, to get to the Venus junction, you will see that you will need to collect mods, equip mods, and upgrade your mods as a requirement to progress to Venus. Now, this leads me on to mods in Warframe. To put it frankly, modding is Warframe, quite literally. It's one of the biggest aspects of Warframe that pretty much makes Warframe for most people, as you have a lot of freedom in making builds later on in the game, and you can make your weapons go from this all the way to this. This is what it will look like later on late game with all the damage that you can do, and this is what the power of modding can do in Warframe. I am going to make a full video on modding in Warframe, but for now, let me explain briefly what it is for you. I don't want to go full in depth because it's going to overwhelm you. You are just starting out in Warframe. There is no need to go all in on modding. As you play the game, you will start collecting mods. You put these mods on your Warframes and weapons to make you stronger and do more damage and be tankier and so on. There is a modding section in your orbiter which shows you all the mods that you've collected. Be careful of this. I need you to understand this. This is a noob killer. This screen right here, the mod section, is a noob killer because it's extremely overwhelming. But I will tell you now, and I will reassure you that I will explain all this to you so it will make sense to you. In the screen that you're currently looking at, here is where you can select your mods, upgrade them, fuse them together, or sell them for endo or credits. Endo is a very important resource in Warframe that is used to upgrade mods that you can farm in game. You get certain mods for different categories like Warframes, weapons, companions, etc, etc. And then for the weapons, you get mods for each weapon type like primary, rifles, pistols, shotguns, and so on and so on. I will go in depth on this menu in the modding video, so if none of this makes sense, it will make sense later on in future episodes. Just all you need to know is that modding is very important and you don't need to stress too much about it as a beginner, but it becomes very important later on as you kind of progress with the power level of Warframe. Then you have the Foundry, which is where you craft your frames, weapons, and other special resources and many more. In Warframe, you have crafting times. Not your normal crafting times. No. Long crafting times. It takes 3 days to build a Warframe and about 12 or 24 hours to craft weapons, depending on the weapon. Yeah, it's long, but that is the point of Warframe. You kind of just grind, get your resources, build a whole bunch of frames of weapons, let them cook in the Foundry while you continue playing the game, farming more things, and keep cooking. Just a little early tip. Always have something cooking in the Foundry. That is a very important thing to do, especially as a beginner. Then you have the arsenal, which is where you equip your frames, weapons, companions, change your gear, just everything regarding your loadout. Now, just in front of your orbiter, next to the navigation tab, you have the Codex. Here is where you can find your quests, whether it's the main quest, side quests. Always check on this if you're ever feeling lost in Warframe. Check if you've done all your quests and what the requirements are, and get them done. Just know that quests are very important to do for the progression in Warframe. And in the Codex, you can also get info for everything in this game, where to find mods and so on, and weapons. And then you get Lavarians, which is kind of like lore, training for the tutorial again, and then missions, which explains all the mission types to you, which I mentioned earlier briefly. And then you have the market, which is where you can buy your weapons, blueprints, and skins, bundles, and other things for platinum. Platinum is Warframe's premium currency, but no. It's not what you think it is. It's premium currency that can be farmed in-game. That is where Warframe is a lot better than most free-to-play game models that are currently in the industry, which I absolutely love about this game. I will go over platinum and how to farm platinum in future episodes, but I want to talk about something very important. Some weapons in the market, and I have to say this early as a beginner because I do not want you to make the same mistake. Some weapons show their platinum prices here, but it does not mean the weapon has to be bought with platinum. Most of the weapons can be bought with the weapon's blueprints with credits, and then you craft them at the Foundry with the respective resources. Some weapons you can't buy the blueprints with credits and only platinum, but again, this does not mean that you have to buy it with platinum. It just means that you have to farm the blueprint in-game through certain mission types or quests. This goes for Warframes too. Buying weapons or frames with platinum just means that you can get it in an instant and you don't have to farm or wait for the crafting times. Warframe is not pay to win in any way. That's one of the big reasons I would say contributed to Warframe's success and how it competes with other free-to-play games. There is nothing in Warframe that is locked behind a paywall. You can go straight to the end of Warframe without spending a cent. However, Warframe is just pay for convenience, or pay for being impatient, or pay for being lazy. Like me, I'm lazy. But you can farm platinum in games through trading, and you can use that to speed up crafting times, buy cosmetics, etc, etc. Warframe is a massive grind. I will be straight with you. It's a huge grind, and there's pros and cons to it. If you enjoy grindy games and you have quite a bit of time on your hands, then you will probably enjoy Warframe quite a lot. It doesn't mean to say that if you are a busy person, you can't enjoy Warframe. It obviously just means that you will progress slightly slower, obviously. But there is one thing I will say, the beauty of Warframe is there is no rush. There's no pressure to get to a certain point, or you have to keep playing or you'll miss out on certain content. That is where Warframe kind of respects your time. You can kind of just play it for a bit, take a break, come back, and everything will still be there, and there will be extra added content on it too. There is a lot of content for you, especially as a beginner in Warframe, so you will enjoy it. But if there is one point I want to reiterate, is you need to get past the noob barrier and the steep learning curve of Warframe. Once you do, you have an absolute gem of a game. There are not a lot of games like Warframe, I can tell you that for sure. Just some advice, get involved with the community. Warframe has an extremely helpful community, and there are a lot of people who are willing to help. If you ever need an answer to something quickly, just go into the Q&A chat or recruiting chat or whatever, ask a question, join a clan even. I will talk about clans in the next episode. And then one more very important thing, if you ever need any info or you are lost or you don't understand something, the wiki is your best friend. Warframe's wiki is honestly one of the most helpful things ever. And I wish I used it more as a beginner, and I wish someone told me to use it more as a beginner when I first started playing Warframe. Genuinely, if you need any info, the wiki pretty much has it all. I know it sounds like an overload of information or sounds a bit scary, but it's not. Any quick question, where to farm something, where to get this, how to acquire this resource, it's one Google search away. Genuinely, the wiki is your best friend in this game, and if you still don't understand, then YouTube guides are also your best friend. Don't be afraid to ask. And don't neglect the wiki. Your experience will be a lot better and a lot smoother this way. And that's pretty much it. I wanted this guide to be kind of an outline of Warframe, kind of explain some important basics, and then future episodes I dive into the specifics and follow along with you on your journey. Warframe can be quite overwhelming at times, and I want to make it better for you guys. And I have made an alternate account. I've literally restarted Warframe to kind of, go along the journey and kind of restarted Warframe with my current knowledge, basically to experience what it's like to be a beginner again. That's it for the Beginner's Guide episode 1. I know it's a lot, but keep playing, keep following along, and everything will start to make sense to you. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe so more beginners can see this video. I will see you all in the next one.